Hi guys, been a while since I've updated. I'm getting rubbish at updating everything. Been busy on the car recently. Now the car's stored away in the garage. I'm noticing there's been having a couple of fuel smells coming through. Now the smells are coming through the braided lines I've got fitted. It's the nitrate lines. So what I've decided to do is, when I'm all here upgrading these lines for the feed and the return, I've decided that I'm going to replace all the standard lines, just for the fact that the standard lines are quite restrictive, and I'm going to be aiming for a bit more power. So I know the standard lines are quite restrictive, the sort of the power levels I'm aiming for. So now I've got some fuel line coming from Hell. Great company to deal with, folks. Really nice and friendly guys there. So all these pipes and the pipes running to the back of the car, to the fuel tank, they're going to be replaced with Teflon hoses rather than the nitrate hoses. That means the fuel won't seep through and the smells won't come through, basically. So the only thing is, with the nitrate AN fittings, all of those in there, they don't fit the new Teflon hoses. So if you can see on here, basically these new AN fittings are for the Teflon hoses. Now all these are from Torx, a company called Torx, which are very nice to deal with. Again, really good quality fittings. Now if I just put it down there a second, when I open one of these packets, basically instead of AM fittings for the nitrate hoses, here's an example here. This is a nitrate hose. Basically, when you get your braided line, come on, if I can undo this one-handed. Right, with your nitrate hoses, you cut the hoses, you slide this onto the hose, then you get your blue fitting and you put it in there and tighten these together. Job done. They're great hoses, but they do tend to let fuel smells come through eventually. So yeah, basically they're not the best. Now these are the Teflon fuel hose connectors. Work in similar sort of principle. One-handed, I can't do it one-handed. I have to put the phone down a second. Okay, so now these come in two parts or three parts. You basically cut your lines to the desired size you need, fit the red thing as you did with the other fittings, but these should slide up and down the hose quite easily. Then you fit the olive over the line, then you screw your fitting in. But I believe you can't reuse these. So once they are squished, unlike the other lines, you can't reuse them. These fittings, should I say. You can reuse the lines, but not the fittings. Because once you tighten that down, it squishes the olive onto the pipe to make a leak-free seal. These are, as I said earlier, from a company called Torx. Very high quality. I've decided, instead of the standard line, which is from I can't remember from size from memory, but they're smaller than the AN8 fittings. Sorry, smaller than the AN6 fittings. These are slightly bigger, the AN6s, than the standard lines. But I've decided, for the fuel I need, I'm going to AN8 fittings, which is going to be quite hard to show you on the camera. camera, but there is a massive difference in sizes there. And like I said, the standard fuel line is smaller than the AN6s, but I'm going to be doing AN8s. AN8 feed to AN6 return back to the pump. So that's those out of the way. Let's get to these a second. I've also got these for mounting the fuel lines underneath the car. This is the AN6 line. A bit overkill really. I could have just used the normal clips like this, the P-clip version. This is not the P-clip, but similar to that, just a normal version. But to make everything look decent and tidy, I've decided to go with the anodized blue as well. I had to update my fuel filter. A bit scratched as you can see, but the filter inside is brand new. With also the AN8 lines on there. I'm going to mount this underneath the car, flowing the right way, to ease installation really. That's going to be mounted up the way, and it'll free up some space in the engine bay there, all there, because the original, when I originally set it up, it was in there. And so yeah, about time I make it look tidy. So that's that. Sorry, enough fittings here to do the entire fuel setup now. I've got 1, 2, 3 AN8 straights, 1, 2, 2 AN8 90 degrees. These will be for the return lines then. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 90 degree AN6s, 3 AN6 straights, 1 AN6 45 degree, and I've got this then, which will take AN8 at this end and 2 AN6s this end, because the fuel rail is AN6 either end, and in there, I don't know if you can see it just down there, that's going to be AN8 feeding to 2 AN6s. So yeah, it's going to be nice, equal spread injector rail. Yeah, injector rail, I'll go with that. Yeah, another update for you guys. I forgot I had that. It sat in the cupboard for ages. Just a cheap eBay heat shield. Just because it's close to the exhaust there, I didn't want the filter sucking up any heat from the manifold. I've also wrapped the downpipe. The downpipe is wrapped to the middle section, which is also wrapped. The only thing I haven't wrapped is the back box itself. Let's give you a look. The back box itself there, but everything else is wrapped up to that point. I've also made these heat shields, one there and one on the screamer pipe. The screamer pipe is now, I can't show you down there, but the screamer pipe is now running 2 wastegates separately, just because that it's easier to control the boost. 2 40mm Turbo Smart wastegates. Also, can't remember guys if I've showed you the line lock kit for the front wheels. Let me get my light. Okay, basically the fuel lines that go to the master cylinder get removed and replaced with these lines that go to the solenoids up there, and then back in. Once they go through the solenoids, they go back to the master cylinder. This allows burnouts to be easier. Basically press the brake, press the button on the line lock, And then it releases the brake and it holds the pressure to the front brakes, and you can happily do a burnout all day long. No holding the brake pedal yourself needed, which can damage the back brake pads and brake discs themselves. Hell kindly supplied these lines for me as well. All Hell braided brake lines. Brilliant quality, amazing quality. Seriously guys, check these out for your brake lines, because I'm also running the Hell brake lines in there as well for the main brakes. Fuel regulator's been changed to a Turbo Smart FPR 1200. Basically that gives me up to 1200 rear wheel horsepower, or is capable of flowing that, should I say. It wouldn't give me it, but it's capable of flowing it. These lines then haven't been changed yet, nor the fuel rail ones yet. But once that's all done, I need to adjust the fuel pressure regulator. This is just there at the moment for mock-up purposes. What else has changed? HKS dump valve, blow-off valve, SQV. This is the third edition, which has got the 3 lines there. I can't think of anything else I've updated. I think that is about it. The thing I gotta do is modify the fuel hat that sits in the tank. Basically, I want AN8 feed go into the engine bay, so I gotta modify the stock one of those, and then I'm gonna put on AN6 return, which will again need modifying the fittings on the top from the normal fuel line fittings, or the fuel hose fitting, should I say. Gonna get those modified to run AN6 and AN8, and that should be done on the fuel side of things. Thank you. See you later. Bye.